Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix, and I am here to do a little demonstration based on the books and magazines that I was sharing the other day. Actually, I didn't share any magazines, but books with shiny pages and what happens when you put a one layer of clear napkin over. So this come out of a I think maybe like a Better Homes and Garden. It's an old picture, but you can see it's got some texture. It was from the 70s. It could have been a book. I did this about a month ago and I don't remember, but you can see that it was like a yellowish orange lilies, and what the napkin did was give it a really nice finish over the top that you can ink over a little bit, give it a vintage feel. You can cut it down, make cards out of it, back it with some craft paper or coffee dyed paper and make a couple of cards out of it. You could almost cut it right across through here and make 2 postcards from it. That would be cute. This is out of the same book. It has a darker background, and it does not pick up as well on backgrounds that are darker, as you can see here, but it still has a good effect. So this one also would be big enough to make a couple of postcards from, and there's the back side so you can see the gloss. And then this was out of one of the magazines I shared a few weeks ago that had a lot of vintage and antique paintings or pictures of paintings. So this is the back side of where I cut this out, and I did this with my decal trimmer. This has one layer of napkin over it, and it just took the gloss right out and gives it, to me, a more vintage look. And if you inked it up a little bit, it would be even more so, especially around the edges. So if the battery in my camera holds out, I'm going to do a short demonstration. I've already separated the napkins, and I am going to use this napkin right here, and I'm going to cover basically this whole page because I want this image in the middle, but I also want these little tiny ones. They can be cut into individual squares and little stamps or other things, just little ephemera made from them. So what I'm going to do is bring in my homemade glue mixture, and I got me a new brush just for this. I bought a pack of 36, I think it was, about a year and a half ago, and I'm not even down to half of the can yet. And this is a coffee can. I'm not going to say the word because I don't want it to trigger something on YouTube. But so what I do is I just do a very thin layer across the places that I want it to be. And when I say thin, I mean as thin as possible, because you don't want your paper to wrinkle, but you do want a good coverage. So you got to find that happy place right in between and work quickly. Okay. And this is a plastic placemat, and I find that they are probably one of the best things to use for this sort of thing. Alrighty. Hopefully this all cooperates well with me. Oops. Yeah, I pulled a little bit too hard there. Okay. You can see my brush strokes underneath. I guess that's what happens when you use a new brush. Okay, and then I start from the middle, and I just go out lightly because I don't want to tear the napkin. Pull it it over this way just a little bit. Give myself some elbow room, or wrist room, I suppose. Not restroom, wrist room. Yep. Already done the restroom thing. Okay, so now, some people think I'm crazy, but I iron all of my paper, and especially where I glue. But it has to dry a little bit first, and I turn this upside down on a piece of parchment paper, and I iron it from the back side. But I'm not going to do that in this demonstration. I'm going to show you the difference between a light background and a dark background. So that was the light background. Now this, hopefully it's not glaring, is just a really pretty picture of, looks like the entry of a flower shop or some street flowers, or it could be somebody's courtyard. Either or, it's pretty. So I'm going to do the same thing here with just a smooth layer of glue that, and I've got well, I thought I had a boar's hair according to what it said, but I don't know, maybe I don't. At any rate, let's put the napkin on there before it dries, because I do have a fan running behind me, just to make it a little bit cooler in here, because it was just a little over 100 degrees here today, and it don't matter how much air you've got running, that's hot. Okay. Now, it can't be helped most of the time that you have wrinkles in your napkin, but when it dries, I think it gives it character. So, let me put this over here and close this up out of the way. And pull this right back up. See if I can put these side by side so they can both be seen. Now, actually that didn't turn out as bad as I thought it would as far as the color's not coming through. It puts in photography, I can't remember now what it's called because I don't use it that much. It's not a favorite of mine, but when you put like a blue cast on your picture, it puts a cast on the picture a little bit to me. Anyway, I like it. I think that's as far as I'm going to go because my camera's not set up to do the iron thing, and I don't want to just be away from this and leave you sitting here with, even though this is a pretty pattern, you don't want to look at it for, the next 5 minutes while I do this. But I will dry it. I don't do heat guns. I do have one, but I use it for something else. When I package up my perfumes and colognes and my room and fabric spray, I use to do the shrink plastic, but I don't use it for this. Anyway, I will dry it and I will come back in just a few minutes and we'll look at it dry. Okay, I'm back. It took me about, 5 minutes maybe to iron this. So this is what it looks like now. Not that different than how it looked before, but it's dry. You can touch it. I haven't cut it out yet. This is the back. I ironed it face down like this on a piece of parchment paper, and I set my iron on 2. Sometimes I set it on 1, but 2 seems to work the best. I never set it any higher than that because it will warp the paper really bad, and it'll just basically ruin it. So this turned out really, really good, and this one turned out okay. I could probably put another layer of glue here and wipe that back down, but actually it's really dark in this area anyway, so I probably would cut it in half and just use this half, and I would probably make a tag from this. So when I finish, I usually do several at a time when I do this sort of thing, and I'll just do just a preliminary cut around the edges like this, and then once I have cut out everything that I've done, I will line it up and get all my lines straight, and then I'll cut out what I need. But I'll probably, in fact, I'll just go right ahead and go right up through here, and that'll give me room to cut down the edges and make it square it off, and I will glue that to some craft paper most likely, and that will become a journaling card. Now this one is a little bit different because I want to use various pieces of it, and I've been thinking of doing a botanical journal, just pure botanical, and not just have a few features in it. This might end up being a really good page, but I think, I'm not really interested in this down here, but I'll keep it for now because it could just be a good base for the time being, depending on how big the book page is. But I'm pretty sure I want to make this a book page or a pocket on a book page. If I back it with some heavy craft paper, I can make it a full page pocket. That's kind of what I have in mind, I think. But all of these can be cut. This could be cut right through here. These could become either stamps or little small tags, and this one could be cut, and I could leave these two to go with this. It's funny, my mother has one of these in her yard, and I trim it every fall and bring the stalks home. I strip the leaves off of it, let it dry out, and it keeps its color really well. And they're about almost as tall as me, a little over 5 feet. So, so that's what I would do with that piece of magazine page. And it might be that even this could end up being a little something. Could make a good stamp. Use a punch or scissors that does the little zigzag pink, the little tiny pinking shears. Oh, that's probably not too square, but nope, not by a long shot. But you get the idea. It can, even though the whole thing can't be used totally, you could still do something with it that makes it usable. It's a base to build on, if nothing else. And there you go. It's not bad, actually. Depends on it. It has a mood to it. Alright, so that's really all I wanted to share this time around. I've got a few other ideas kicking around in my head, and one of the things that I get at thrift stores is gift bags, and my thought is, for beginners, it's hard to put themes together and make designs if you're starting from scratch or you don't have a designer's mind or skill. So I'm going to look at building a cover from a gift bag and proposing some ideas on how else they can be used. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time around.